Libertarianism, as far as I'm concerned, is predicated on two things. One is the non-aggression principle. Keep your mitts to yourself. You can do anything you damn well please. Just keep your mitts to yourself unless you have the permission of other people. So voluntary sadomasochism is okay. It's compatible with libertarian law, but if you don't have people's permission, keep your mitts off of them and their property. The other side of the coin is property rights. If I grab someone's shirt, Misa's shirt, am I a thief or not? Well, it all depends upon who owns the shirt. If that person who's got the t-shirt stole it from me yesterday, well, then I'm the good guy and he's the bad guy. So property rights are very important to determine who is the aggressor and who is the victim. And the libertarian view on this is pretty much based on homesteading, the Lockean, Rothbardian, Hoppian theory of homesteading, and the Nozickian notion, Robert Nozick, of legitimate title transfer. Namely, any voluntary act would be a legitimate title transfer. For example, barter or sale or gifts or gambling or things like that. So that's libertarianism in the 2-minute version. The non-aggression axiom, non-aggression principle, and private property rights. So what is libertarian law? Libertarian law is just the fulfillment of these two principles. Murder, rape, theft, fraud, all those things would be prohibited, but anything else would be allowed. So what this book, Defending the Undefendable, does is try to elucidate this, try to expand on this, try to explain this by taking cases of activities that are not prescribed by libertarianism, that are compatible with libertarianism, and yet are against the law or are universally hated. And I go further. I don't say just that these things are legitimate. I say that it's heroic to do these things that I'll be listing in a minute. Because if it's compatible with libertarian law and it's hated by masses of people and it's prohibited, well then, and you still insist on doing it, you still insist on living liberty, if I can use that phrase, well then you're heroic. Look, right now it's okay to wear a striped tie, even though it's not a very good tie, but you know, aesthetics apart. This is a legal activity. But suppose that the government, in its infinite wisdom, decided that wearing blue striped ties was illicit and punishable by a jail sentence, and I still insisted on wearing this stupid tie. Then, not only would I be acting compatibly with libertarianism, but there would be an element of heroism in me for doing this in contradiction to what the government is saying. Now, blackmail is against the law. But we have to distinguish blackmail from extortion. In both blackmail and extortion, what happens is that you make a threat against somebody, and you also make a demand. You make a threat and a demand. And the demand is usually for money, but it could be for sexual services or something like that. But it's a threat and a demand. The difference between blackmail and extortion is that in extortion, the threat is an illicit threat. The threat is, I'll kill you if you don't give me money. Or I'll burn your house down, or I'll kidnap your child, or something like that. If you don't give me money, that's extortion, and that would be absolutely prohibited by the Libertarian Code. But under blackmail, the threat is not to violate the non-aggression principle, rather the threat is to gossip. If you don't give me money, I'm going to tell people that you take a bath with a rubber ducky. And you do take a bath with a rubber ducky, and I got a picture of you taking a bath with a rubber ducky, and people won't play with you if this picture gets out, so give me $100. That's blackmail. Should that be illegal? No, because I'm not violating the non-aggression principle. It's sort of like I got the blinders on. I got the non-aggression principle, and I'm just trying to get the implications of it. And one of the implications is that blackmail should be legal. The slanderer or the libeler. One is in speech and one is in writing. And I now slander you. I say that you're a rotten kid, or you're a commie, or Doug is a lesbian, and Yuri is a child molester, and I just keep going on and saying that nasty things about people. And the idea here is that what I've done is akin to stealing. Your reputation is probably more important than your coat. companies are sold with goodwill, where the price of the company is way more than the price of the physical objects because of goodwill. Well, goodwill is just reputation. So if I start saying that various people here are misfits in various ways, total lies, whatever, I'm ruining their reputation, and people say that I'm stealing their reputation. And therefore, it violates the non-aggression principle because I'm taking your property rights away. However, a moment's thought will convince you, I hope, it's convinced me, that you don't own your reputation, paradoxically. Because what does your reputation consist of? Your reputation consists of the thoughts of other people. Can you own the thoughts of other people? No. Therefore, paradoxically, you can't own your reputation. The other paradox is that you work hard to create your reputation by dealing fairly with other people, and you can profit from it, but you still don't own it. So if you don't own it and I take it away from you, I haven't taken anything away from you that you own. Therefore, I'm not a thief. Another paradox is that if we got rid of the libel laws, and in Britain, the libel laws are really crazy. There you have to prove that you're innocent, and rather than they have to prove you're guilty. It's just horrendous. Paradoxically, reputations would be safer in a full free market of ideas institution. Because right now, you go to the newspapers or you go to the web or whatever, and there are houses for sale and there are cars for sale and houses for rent and cars for rent and jobs opening, and there are personals, I want to meet a lady, yak, yak, yak. Well, now there might be libel columns. Joe is a bigot, he's a libertarian, which would be a horrible thing. And no longer would a mere allegation suffice to ruin a reputation. Because the charges would come thick and fast. Everybody be libeling everybody. Right now, if I say that Doug is a lesbian, well, where there's smoke, there's fire, who knows? Let's check him out in the men's room, whatever. It's unclear. But if everyone was doing this, a mere allegation would be just silly. Now, you'd have to have some evidence. So paradoxically, again, paradox upon paradox upon paradox, reputations would be safer, not more at risk. Now, free speech, there really is no free speech rights, more private property rights. You can say anything you want in your own house or with your own writing. But there is one exception, and that is you can't make a threat. It's not really free speech to say that if you don't give me money, I'm going to shoot you. Or to threaten, I'm going to kill you. That would be the one illegitimate thing, because the non-aggression principle is not only against force or initiation of force, but also the threat thereof. Because often the threat will do fine. I'm holding a gun on you and I say, give me $100 or I shoot you. I don't have to actually shoot you. You're going to give me that money. So the non-aggression principle, if you understand it fully and correctly, it's the force, the initiation of force, or the threat thereof. So apart from that, people start saying, well, we have to have exceptions for free speech. Like right now, there's this guy who's burning a Koran, a minister in Florida, and he's engaging in hate speech against Muslims and this and that. And also he pickets, funerals for army people who are dying, and he says, the reason they're dying is God hates homosexuals or something like that. Well, does he have a right to do that? People say, well, free speech rights aren't absolute. There are always exceptions. For example, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. That's a famous one from one of the Supreme Court judges. And therefore, we have to take this guy's free speech rights away, too. Now, I have no love for this guy. I think he's a little weird. But does he have a right to say what he wants to say on his own property with his own megaphone, in his own house or in his own church? I say yes. The homophobe. I hate gays. I don't actually, but let's suppose I did. I'm a hater. I hate everyone. I'm not tolerant. I just hate the Archie Bunker series, there was this guy George Jefferson who had a spin-off of his show, Black Guy. No, nobody's seen that show? Okay, some people have. And George Jefferson's shtick was being mean. So his wife one day said, George, stop being so mean, be nice. So George starts smiling and goes like this. And for about 2 minutes he's smiling. And he said, I tried it, I don't like it. And he went back to being mean. But he didn't violate rights. So is he a hero? Yeah, he's a hero. He's a hater, and we've got this stuff about hate speech nowadays. You know that like if you commit assault and battery against this person, you're just guilty of assault and battery. If you committed assault and battery about that person, you're guilty of a hate crime, which seems a little silly to punish you for what's in your mind. Surely you should punish the person for what he did. So my claim is that merely sitting there and hating and going, I hate, that's not a violation of liberty, and it's illegal now, and it's hated by all of our friends on the left, so the hell with those people. We can now stand up for hate. Hate is great. Maybe the next t-shirt will be, I'm a great hater, or something like that, to illustrate the logical implications of what we're all about, what libertarian law is all about. What should be the right punishment for murder? Well, the way I analyze murder, what murder is the theft of a life. I'm going to pick on Doug again because he's my buddy. He won't be too angry at me, and he's sitting right there. Suppose I murdered Doug. What I did is I took his life. I stole his life. Well, surely any libertarian punishment theory worthy of the name, the first thing that I must be made to do is to give back that life that I stole from him. Unfortunately, we don't have this Nozickian machine where you put us both in the chamber, Doug's dead body and my live body, and you flip the switch and the life goes out of me and into him. But if we had that machine, wouldn't that be the essence of justice? To force me kicking and screaming into that machine, and then you transfer my life back into Doug, and now Doug comes out alive and I come out dead? That would be justice. I mean, that would be the essence of justice. There could be nothing more just than to take the life of the live murderer and give it to the dead victim, and let the dead victim walk away live, and let the live murderer go to the grave. Unfortunately, we don't have that machine. Doug talks about, I don't know why I'm picking on him all the time, but he talks about technology. One of these days, maybe we'll have that machine. And if we do, libertarians would say use it. But we don't. So what we have to do is the next best thing. The next best thing is to give my life to Doug's future wife or his heirs. And what she can do is enslave me or publicly execute me for money. Maybe put it on Google and you'd see more money. Who knows about that? I don't know. But the point I'm trying to do is to justify the executioner. Now, the executioner is illegal in many states. I think Illinois just banned execution, and many other states ban it. People say, well, executions don't really reduce the murder rate. And what they do is they compare states that have the death penalty with ones that don't. But if you compare the states that execute versus the ones that don't execute, not the ones that have the death penalty, because some states have the death penalty, they just don't execute anyone, then you find very good correlations.